You know, there's something bigger than the border between Canada and the United States. Something that binds our lands together better than any international boundary ever could. I'm on a journey to explore that essential element, Aboriginal people. And so I'm using the border as a guide to meet as many fascinating people in as many interesting places as I can. This is about our history, our culture, and our future. Because for me, the border is not a boundary. It's something completely different, and I call it the medicine line. Some mysteries were never meant to be solved, while others reveal themselves very slowly over long periods of time. Alberta is home to a host of medicine wheels, more than any other state or province. As you may know, a medicine wheel is a sacred Aboriginal learning space. In this case, we're talking about a cosmic calendar. Some of these stone circles are bigger than others, but Majorville is huge.
So I'm on my way up to Edmonton. I'm gonna meet Gordon Freeman, Dr. Gordon Freeman. He wrote a book on the Majorville Medicine Wheel, and when I read it, wow, I gotta meet this guy.
Dr. Freeman has made the Majorville site his life's passion. His latest book even compares the medicine wheel to the world-famous Stonehenge. That's crazy, but true. The cool part is, he says Majorville is actually much, much older than Stonehenge.
So this area, is it religious? Is it functional? What is it?
It's a very complex medicine wheel, probably the most complex one on the plains. The thing is 8 layers of stone separated by 7 layers of dirt. The oldest artifacts are oxbow and carbon dated from 5,000 to 4,000 years. And what's really amazing, it has a calendar more accurate than the Gregorian one that we use and that is used internationally in the business world. There's an aerial photograph of the sun, moon, and morning star. The medicine wheel is the sun effigy. So the sun is actually the stone pile. 40 meters or so southwest, there is a crescent of 7 big rocks. That's the crescent moon. And halfway between the edge of the ring and that crescent is about a half-ton rock. That's the morning star. And they're hooked up in a geometrical X. I've found the moon in the sun cycles. I mean, the moon has an 18.6-year wobble around the Earth, its orbit. It's down there, 18.6-year cycle of the moon. I thought, well, okay, solstice is real easy, but could they actually get the equinox? And it turned out that we found accurate alignments 3 days before the spring equinox and 3 days after the fall one. That's symmetry. That's part of pattern recognition.
By definition, it's actually equal day and equal night. And those two events happen over 3 days in March and 3 days in September. This calendar gets them both right.
Art and the highest level of science have always gone together. Because science at the highest level, you see things, you look for beauty. You don't give a damn about whether somebody can use it and make a buck.
This is crazy precise for being so old. How could they have ever accomplished this back then?
You wouldn't need any mathematics at all. You just need observation and a driving curiosity, the kind of curiosity that keeps you awake at night.
According to Dr. Freeman, the site actually extends over many kilometers, using some natural and man-made elements to keep track of everything. And the stone mound, that's just the center of it. And they would have kept adding more rocks to this thing. By his pattern calculations, another rock should have been placed somewhere in the calendar right about now to help keep track of the solstice. But with the colonization of the Americas, well, that means for the first time in about 5,000 years, it just ain't gonna happen.
We're still making discoveries down there. It's just such a rich place, unique in the world.
Unique place is right. It kind of serves the same function as Stonehenge in the UK, which is over 7,000 kilometers away, and it's probably at least 1,000 years younger than the Majorville site. Now that's wild. I really gotta go see this place for myself, but I gotta find this place somehow. To do that, I think I know where to go. I've got one more stop to make before I go to the Majorville Medicine Wheel. I'm headed to the Blackfoot Crossing Historical Park. It's located on the Siksika First Nation, and that's home to the Horn Society. As I understand it, the Horn Society are like the keepers of the Blackfoot tribe's collective knowledge. I got the opportunity to interview two of the society members. I was really hoping they could tell me something more about the Majorville site.
It's quite interesting, it's been there for thousands of years. My grandfathers, fathers, brothers, uncles, friends, we'd go out there and hunt along the river. This same river goes by that site, and you go over there, you look at it, it's just like a wheel. Like it's got a big circle around it and there's spokes going out. Some of these spokes have a meaning to it. Some of them is when the geese come. Ducks are flying there, Well, there's a line where the sun comes up, grass is going to grow, the river's going to thaw out, or it's going to start to thaw out. Everything is all in one, calendar and when the birds are coming. When we see the site, they'll just say, oh, there's that, a big rock formation. And I've been hearing that since I was a little kid. And when my dad told me stories, he'd use that name, To translate it in English, it means a big rock formation.
Tell me the origins of Majorville in the Blackfoot language.
Okay. Anuka, awan taxisinik samua, taxa pichtupa, Majorville. Mua kiwa, kikuana, niu takai, nautu tekia ohki.
Hannik se kikuan yakit sopia mini ittai. Se kan kai yakut situ. Mutta sitä pinskasiaan matstikis kana kai kita ohkitu me kennai. Ma doks ma sa kanik sa, ma da kitu pas. Mi kaka ku mi spassa mi kakatu si. Itani wa kyu ma kakatu sanu ita kitu.
Kenika matsiksikkoye kiskanotuni tai kiumi utau tohktaani waan ka utsitsekstaa kuan mu ninna. Utsitani kuan nistuanna kognahki tauan spot jahkitums. Kikoutsam.
Kita puat semua kaman ninna. Kium kok pisata psiwalisa utai spamu kiu kai mi mesita bipi spegelik sa matsita pi na tua psi kelik sa itsena paita pi ma kikwan.
Utai ta pessissani utsitanikke aksi kenoaksi maassiksi. Pinhtatana kita oma kitenoa umhko maas. Anna pinatat niissä.
Anne ja sijakut kana iksini paas sikisi in sema siis. Uma maas anne minun oaksini saas mini tapahtuu tai. Missä tässä isamita spima kiikuana mi uumi pukita passimi. Kimi on aita puu mi maasi. Ihan iksepska patsiwa. Kene on iksepska patse mi utitin sapse anneksonkin utita piimiksi. Itsekini takima kiita vaasseini.
Itanissa voi tsiksnatsik takin ninnäkin iksesta kääksin sitä piimiksi tukaneen nuoja. Ki utsitani kehatta tanauna maas. Itani taatana.
Sitä piimiksi teinuoja mi kisapaa teitä piivaa. Kaikki taknakkais. Utsitani kami ninai auki kiakkapia. Miksi niuttu kiiksi? Mistä nistiipia? Kenkä sisäpittäkin miksi tuitapiiksi? Kenen on kitsit sinnu piiniä miä kiikoen mi hännikä ennu piiniä jäi kahkikissa pähtsemään miutuu piinaksua mi kenni mä yritykses kiipi maa kiikoen mi umhkiaqtupani kani ni tungmui.
Keni au takaisi. Keni ni tu takaiwaka. Uchi itawa istamatsiniksi anokamo manstispi manstapapsispi avuksakiksi manstautuitsiktuupi uukkaanjan. Niksi itskunmiawa ihtanissivuusti ohkutukistjani manstupuai itsknimiawa annauka suat saakiutitsinni puutuahpi.
Keni mai ihtistapumatapaapi muhkaaki. Annika umhkiaqtu. Anak matapiwa manstatuitsipe. Amosiskaaki utatua pitaksawaskaagitsi ikkitstaaja. Kensogistais kahkimiamitsi utistapi pitaksawas mistä uja pigaasi kanomeansi unoksokitaksawasagitsi kiitakia. Kiikstais kahkiakia uhkutukiksi. Makitsaista pupukas. Kene ehtomatapi aakkaui miksi ohkutuki miksi et matapiiksi kanomeansi tapiiksi näitä piptakia. Saumatapakaimi miksi ohkutukiksi tais kahkiakia.
As soon as I arrived, I knew that this was a spiritual place. But there was also this eerie spookiness to it. I can't figure out why. It's just not a welcoming feeling. You know, it looks like a pile of stones, but the more I stand here, the more I can feel the power in this place. So I feel that when someone leaves a piece of themselves here, it remains with that stone. People's troubles and worries and whatever they were going through, I feel it's still here. Now in 1971, an archaeological expedition literally cut this in half, hoping to find out some of its secrets. The expedition found over 20,000 artifacts that had been left by people paying homage to this site. And they removed them. They put it back together, but I don't know if it can ever be the same. I feel there's a universal knowledge here. This is where art, science, and history collide. Wow.
Years ago, we were the only people here. That's why we think we're the only ones that can go there, you know. So for me, I don't think that's the case, you know. I think anybody can go there and pray. I think the bottom line is respect for the site.
I'm not sure how or why this place came to be, but I do believe its makers had a purpose much more than the art and the beauty of what we're experiencing right now. You know, I spend my life traveling around, looking through the lens of my camera, but somehow today, I'm having a hard time staying focused on the task at hand. Even the combination of wind and sun is distracting. I don't want to stay here much longer. I don't feel welcome here. I have to go. This is definitely such a weird feeling. I know this will stay with me for quite a while on the rest of my journey. leaving Canada's Stonehenge, I decided to check something out that was totally off the map. Carthage. They say the artist that created Carthage studied Stonehenge in great detail. In 1987, he decided to bury a whole bunch of cars in the dirt of his father's Nebraska homestead as a tribute to the man who raised them. Holy jumpins, that's a crazy tribute. Has a certain beauty to it. Like some crazy accident from 1955, some of the most iconic American cars are here, and they're stacked, vertical, horizontal, on top of each other.
Okay, this place is big. It's certainly American. It's kind of crazy, but it's also pretty cool. Oh, and by the way, it's for sale if it's the kind of thing you're looking for.
But like any tourist trap, now I can say I saw it. Been here, done that, bought the t-shirt. Now it's time to get back on the road. Mitchell, South Dakota. On the outskirts of town, and slightly off the beaten path, is something I've never ever heard of. They call it an Archaeo Dome. I'm meeting with Dr. Adrian Hannes to talk about some of the work he's doing and ask him what the connection is between this dome and Native Americans.
Prehistoric Indian village. What exactly is that?
The site is a village of the people who were sort of ancestral to the modern Mandan people. And so this was just a community of people out here on the landscape who were taking advantage of the hunting opportunities, the gardening opportunities. And so you would have had a village with women and children and men running around doing their different daily tasks. We've documented about 80 of the earth lodges that were built on this site during the period of its occupation. And we think this site was probably occupied somewhere between about 75 and 100 years.
What you do, it's obviously a part science, it's a part history. What else is in it?
Well, I love detective stories, and I worked jigsaw puzzles like crazy when I was a kid, and I keep thinking, damn, it's another one of those puzzles where somebody dumped half the pieces before they gave me the box for the puzzle. So I keep looking for the pieces that are missing, and it just intrigues me.
Archaeo Dome, for the layman or my mom, what is an Archaeo Dome?
Yeah, what is an Archaeo Dome? That's a fragment of my fractured mind. We were working with trying to develop the museum here. The folks at the board that runs this kept saying, well, what the tourists want to see is archaeologists doing work, because there's so much material. The archaeology here would entertain hosts of archaeologists for generations to come. And so this is a training school. The building that we created, we drilled 40-foot deep concrete columns to support the building. So before each of these columns was drilled, we excavated archaeologically each column position. We took out over 1.5 million artifacts.
Taking knowledge from the dig site, the museum was able to recreate an earth lodge in its entirety. This is where they lived, kind of like living underground. Pretty cool. Through their work, they uncovered a busy society of hunters, farmers, and all sorts of advanced tools. It's pretty clear to archaeologists like Dr. Hannes that the people who lived here, well, they came from the deep south, possibly as far away as Mexico.
Somebody, cooked over here, and they made pottery over there, and they made stone tools over there, and then over time that area got, used for something else, and it was just a constant use area. I'd like to demystify this. It isn't something that is somehow radically bizarre. It's just a story about people living somewhere and getting along, and what they did to get along.
Each year, another group of passionate students from Exeter, England, come to the site. They uncover literally thousands of objects each year, each adding a new piece to Hannes's puzzle, which of course tells us the story of the people who lived here.
This depression that comes back behind us is one of the earth lodges. And this is one that the corner of the lodge actually burned. It's one of our best examples of a burn incident that we've come down on so far. And what was really interesting is they seem to have stored some tools here in the corner of the lodge. The piece there in the corner is a grooved maul, which would be just a heavy sledgehammer type of piece. This is a mono, which is a grinding stone that's been prepared and shaped, and then they would grind it on a stone slab. It had a natural shape to it, but they created a pecked surface on it so it would cut through the grinding task more efficiently.
The coolest part of all is that they are constantly uncovering and finding objects that haven't been seen for hundreds, if not thousands of years.
There are hours and hours and weeks and months of digging, which some people think is a tedium. I don't, because you never know. You really don't. I mean, every time you're going across the surface, you don't know what's under it. And in a site like this, that's absolutely true. I mean, this afternoon we might find something that we haven't seen one of yet.
I don't know if it's helpful to First Nations people that we dig down to learn about where we come from. Maybe it's like Majorville, and it should be just left alone. But whatever the case, digging down does help tell a bigger story. Get a bigger picture of what life was like before it turned into the one we have today.